Good evening, everyone. Tonight we are going to be covering interview tips and techniques for newcomers coming into the United States and seeking jobs in the US market. We have two individuals joining us who are professionals in their fields today. We have Ms. Sarwari with LSS, who is an employment specialist, and then we also have Mr. Rahimi with LIRS, who is an employment director. Thank you so much for joining us. Could you both tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be part of this session tonight. My name is Atiqullah Rahimi. I'm the employment director with LIRS, Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Services, for the last 1 year. And I will be glad to share my experience and what we do and how we can secure a good employment with the experience that we have developed so far. And we are glad to join you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Wajia Sarwari. I'm also one of the employment coordinator at Lutheran Social Services. I have been employment coordinator for more than 1.5 years. And yeah, thank you for inviting.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have both of you.
Thank you.
So in this slideshow, we're going to be covering interview tips and techniques. So overall, how to get the job, how to stand out, things to remember, and thank you notes. And I am going to let our guests cover these things. I am just giving our intro slide. So here we go.
Okay, so first of all, let me start with saying that when it comes to interview and interview preparation and preparing yourself for a successful interview, one of the greatest fear is that people are thinking of interview something very dangerous, something that is very big in their mind, which is obviously not. It's very easy, and it all depends on who you are and what type of attitude you are taking, and it primarily depends on how much prepared you are for the interview, and how is your first interaction with the interviewer, and how you make the process successful, and how you do the follow-ups. So basically, there are many things to consider, but I can say there are four primary things that you have to have it when you are going to the interview, whether that is in person or that is virtual. First, it is the attitude. The attitude is either a deal maker or a deal breaker. A deal maker in a sense that if you have the right attitude toward the employer, when you have the right attitude toward the company and the job itself, you will be having a successful time while passing the interview. But if you develop a negative mindset, or you already disturbed with whatever job nature is, then that will be a deal breaker for you on the day of the interview. So first, have the right attitude. Be positive. Look to the employer as your partner, as your friend. Look to the interviewer as your partner, as your friend, and talk from your heart, and be smiling, and be in the right position and right attitude. And the next thing is that when you're going to the interview, there are other things to consider. Like first is the smiling issue. Like, remember, smile is cheap, and I can say smile is free. So smile whatever you can. Nobody will ask you for any payment. But smile and smiling face is doing magic. Nobody like a boring person. Nobody like a person who is just like a crown and face. Nobody like a person who is angry, or just having a posture that is quite disturbing. So first, when you are going to the interview, when you are appearing to the interview, do smile. And that is doing magic. That is doing wonder. And that will put a very, very strong impression in the mind of the interviewer. The next thing is that keep your positive outlook. And by keep the positive outlook, I mean that you have to shine on the day of the interview and be confident. When I say be confident or have self confidence, it doesn't mean that read books on self confidence and then show yourself as a person who has high level of confidence. By confidence, mean be prepared. When the more you're prepared, the more you're confident. Confident is connected with clarity. The more clarity you have, the more confident you are. The less clarity you have, the less confident you are. So have the required clarity. By clarity, I means understand the job description, understand the company, the nature of the company, the staff that they have, the market that they have targeted, and what contributions they have made, who the company is. Understand yourself, your experience, your education, your attitude, achievements, skills, and then try to sell it in the right way. That is what I mean, self-confidence. But if you're not prepared, if you're not clear what you're doing, if you're not clear on the job description, the company, and the interviewer, by reading thousands of self-confident books and questions and answers and stuff like that, you will not be able to succeed on the day of the interview. So prepare, then you will be having automatically that required level of self-confidence to show to the employer side. And also set the example. By set the example, I mean be someone who you would want to hire in your company. Suppose that you are the manager of a company. Suppose you're an entrepreneur and want to hire people. What kind of people you want? With what type of skills? With what type of experience? With what type of attitude? What qualification? And blah, 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 blah. And then pretend yourself you are the hiring manager and you are looking forward to have those type of people. So function like that, prepare like that. And then when you are in the day of the interview, then try to somehow explain who you are and explain to the interviewer that you are the right person and you are the person that the employer should choose from 10 or 15 people that are waiting for the interview in the corridor. So why should select you in a state of having those 10 people which are already waiting for the interview? So you have to have that momentum and that type of setting an example that the employer prefers you in a state of 10 people that are already in line for the interview. So these are some of the key, not all, but few of the things. Because of time limitation, we're not able to discuss all of them, but these three key are very important. Good body language, smile, right attitude, set an example, and also keep your self-confidence high and talk in a very calculated way.
Thank you, Mr. Rahimi. Did you want to add anything, Ms. Sarwari?
Thank you. I think so Mr. Rahimi explained very well all the success key to get a job. I think so these are all very important that he already explained very well.
Okay, we'll move to the next slide. This is just a quick quote by Arthur Ashe, who was the first African American to win a number of major tennis championships. One important key to success is self-confidence. An important key to self-confidence is preparation.
Absolutely agree. And I've already explained that the key to that self-confidence, as Ashley explained, is the preparation. And remember, if you're not prepared, if you do not understand, and if you do not have the required clarity, never ever try to be self-confident, because you can't. Self-confident doesn't mean that you have to have straight shoulder and speak out loud and walk fast or shake hands so strong. Without the necessary knowledge, without the necessary preparation, having those type of actions in the interview that looks so bad, arrogant, and that will not bring you a result. So having those things are essential, but the most important is be prepared, have the necessary clarity, and then smile, right attitude, good body posture, good handshake, and also self-esteem and self-confidence. This is what I can like add on it. And in the meantime, when you are going for the interview, before going to explore on Google the common answer questions on the interview day, before that, go practically and search about the job, about the company, and about the recruiter itself. So by that, I primarily mean first visit the company website. Company website is one of the large area where you can find lots of information: who the company is, what are their mission, vision, values, who they are, where they are, what they sell, what they want, and who they work for, what is their target population, and stuff like that. So that is one of the first stop where you can get abundance knowledge about the company. The second thing is uh, bring your resume to the day of the interview, because it is possible the recruiter or employer may not have a copy, so they can hand over the copy on the spot. And the other thing is that it may happen that you may come under the impression, or you may be stressful, you may forget stuff, you may forget dates and jobs and experience, whatever you mentioned. So it's better to have a copy in front of yourself as well. So when you're asked a question, you will be in a very good position to answer the question. Third, wear professional clothing. So as we say, first impression is the last impression. That is well said. So wearing clothing or business attire is one of the key. And remember, when we say wear professional clothing or have the right business attire, you should not exaggerate on it. If you are applying for a warehouse job, if you're applying for an entry level job, do not wear as if you are applying for a director position. And if you are applying for a managerial position, a director positions, office or this office positions, administrative positions, so wear as if you are actually going for that position, but do not wear as if you are going for a warehouse or Amazon job. So that exaggeration, you have to keep the balance. What is the nature of the job, and then wear your clothing according to that. In the meantime, when you are going to the day of the interview, obviously your interview will not be more than 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Let's say it will not be more than 1 hour. So that 1 hour, each and everything you do, you speak, and you show, that is counted, that matters. So try your level best to not have your cell phone on the location where you are having the interview, or if you have it, then please put it in the silent mode, even not on vibration. Put it in the silent mode so that it should not create any disturbance. The other thing, which is quite essential and important, is your arrival time. Like that is the first impression that you're giving to the employer, whether you're punctual or not. Arrive 15, 20, 30 minutes earlier. Park your car, find the address, find the location, treat the receptionist very well, come inside and wait. That is much, much better than arriving late 30 minutes, 10 minutes, then struggling with the parking, struggling with access to the building, struggling to find the location, and then you're already late or you already missed the interview. So all preparation, everything will be gone just because of 20 minutes of negligence. So be on time 15 minutes earlier. But remember one thing, that by on time, I don't mean be there 2 hours before or 3 hours before. And by late, we don't mean be there an hour after. So 15 minutes, 20 minutes is the right timing that you have to be there, so that in case of any emergency, you should be prepared. Like when you're driving to to the location, God forbid, you have traffic jam, or you have got some mechanical issues with your car. So have those type of emergencies in mind as well, and then take some time to those emergencies. That will be very effective in terms of passing a very successful interview and reaching to the interview location.
Yes, and I would add, if you are running late, communicate with the employer. Call them
Absolutely,
and
yes.
let them know. Don't
Yes.
just show up half an hour later. Don't come. Just let them know. They might let you reschedule. They might move your time later. They will work with you.
Yep.
So it's a sign of respect to let them know.
And respect their time.
Yes.
Respect the process.
Exactly.
So as I said earlier, first impression is the key. By first impression means that I don't know you, you don't know me. And this is the first moment and opportunity that we just talk with each other or see each other. And the psychologists are explaining it in a very beautiful way. Like if you don't know a person and you are just meeting that person first time, there are few indications how that second person is taking your first impression. Like 30% is your like your face, how you who you are and how beautiful whatever you are, the body itself, how tall you are, how whatever. I don't want to comment on it. That is the impression that you create in mind of the interviewer. The next 30% is your clothing, your attire, what you have dressed with. That is my initial impression on you. And the remaining, I think 40% is when you open your mouth and you start speaking. So in that 1 minute, I, as an interviewer, or I, as a person who just want to meet you for the first time, I will develop my initial. I cannot say a comprehensive, but the initial understanding or impression of who you are and how I should interact and how I should deal with you. And remember, most of the time, I have been in many interviews. I've passed many, and I've taken money. So when I was part of the panel and I was taking the interviews, meeting a person, the candidate or the applicant, I was making my mind for the first minute. Of course, we were asking the questions, we were scoring, we were fair, we were observing all the justice. But my sixth sense was telling me that this is not the right person or this is the right person. Unfortunately, at the end, the result was like most of the times the results were the same as I was having that first minute impression. Looking to the candidate, to the appearance, and the way he is having the posture or gesture, and the way he was talking. So that is somehow give you the interviewer the initial first decision making impulsions. So that is a decision making moments or minutes that you are giving. So as I say, appearance, clothing, business attire is the key. Number two, prepare a 1 minute summary, professional summary, you can call it. You can call it introduction, because in almost all the interviews, the first question is, could you please introduce yourself to me? Or could you please say a few words about yourself? Or could you please tell us who you are? It may be, they may put it in different ways, but the first question is, please introduce yourself to me. And when I say please introduce yourself to me, I don't mean who you are, from which state you are, from which ethnicity you are, where's your location, where's your living address, what is your phone number, which school you're graduated from, which college you're graduated from. I don't mean that. In a professional way, on the day of the interview, my intention out of each question is that tell me who you are means that, are you a good fit for this job? Do you have the right skills? Do you have the right education to do this job? And are you the right person? So always prepare 1 minute brief introduction or a brief summary, so that whenever they ask you the question, you will be in a very right position, good position to just start explaining them. Explain yourself in 1 minute. That is the whole purpose of asking this question. And also have details and numbers ready to support previous accomplishments. Like always talk objective, not subjective. Of course, sometimes you have to exaggerate, sometimes you have to be subjective, adding things from your own mind and exaggerate the things. But one of the key when it comes to the accomplishments, always be objective. By objective means talk with facts and figures and numbers. Like if you are talking about having a job as a project manager before, achieved, or you're awarded projects and stuff like that. So talk this way. Like I was a project manager from this year to this year with this company. I was able to manage 10 people, 100 people, 200 people, and I was able to being awarded one project at a value of $10 million, another one $1 million, another one this one. These were the milestones of the project, and this is how we completed. So this has more acceptance than saying that, well, I've been a project manager for so many years, and then we've completed many projects, and we have also there were millions of projects that we did, and we were having lots of success on it. So this means zero to me as an interviewer. This is not something that is acceptable. And also avoid negative statements. Nobody likes negative people. You are a good person. You like good people, good words, good conversation, good statements. So same is the case with an interviewer. He is a human. He is a person. He loves to hear good things, not bad things, not negative statements. So do not talk about your weakness. Do not talk about your employer in a bad words. Like do not talk negative about yourself. Do not talk negative about your partners, co-workers. Do not talk negative about your previous employers, because that shows if you talk negative about your previous employers, so who knows, you will talk about me in your next interview. So if I'm your current employer and you're talking bad of your previous employer, it means that you will talk bad of me elsewhere. So that is a clear indication of it. And in the meantime, be objective. When I said before, do not talk about your health issues, your family problems, your own health issues, your stress, and how you're managing your life, and what good or bad life you have. Because I'm not here to show you to have sentiments to you, or I've not invited you to tell me about your family. You're not my client to solve your issues. How much problem you have paying your mortgage, how much problem you have paying your bills and stuff like that. No, you are here to show me, do you deserve to be hired for this job? So talk about the job, talk about the skills, talk about your education, forget about your problems. You're not here for the problems, you're here for the job, to get the job.
Thank you. That is excellent. Yes, exactly. You are showcasing your strengths, not your weaknesses.
Absolutely.
Yes, Azim?
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much from your good explanation. And as you know, there are most of the Afghan refugees like me, and we have a lot of our countrymen. And you mentioned about two important skills about smelling and the same time confidence. As you know, the main obstacle and the main barriers for our people in the United States in searching the job is a lot of things, but especially two things. As you know, we never smile, especially we will be interview, and the second, the confidence. What do you think? What another instrument that we will have, and how we can encourage our people in the United States that they can give a good interview? And do you have any another option on another way that we can encourage them or not?
Well, the thing is that my first concern is about the timing that you have given is from 7 to 8. So that's why I mainly focus on the slides and not talking about the rest of the stuff. I wish I could have more time to talk about more details. It's not only about smiling, or it's not only about self-confidence. there are many things that we have to take into consideration when we are preparing for the interview. Actually, there are 3 steps when you are passing an interview. The first step is the pre-interview step. The second step is the interview step, and the third step is the post-interview step. Like in the pre-interview step, what you have to do first, as we have explained, research about everything everything about the job, the company, the employer, and going through all the websites and stuff like that. Number 2, watch YouTube. Nowadays, God blessed us with a very good instrument, YouTube. So you have many things on it. You have practical interviews. You have people that are explaining what you have to prepare for. You have people showing you the right posture, the right body language, and stuff like that. So spend some time on YouTube and just watch some modules, watch some examples, and watch some videos on how to be prepared for it. And number 3 is prepare yourself technically for the job. Means that read the job description, what this job is about, what are the duties and responsibilities, and then match it with your resume, and have a look on your resume that what you have written on your resume, and then search about the location, and search about the company. If you have friends on that company, call them or just see them for a minute and ask them what this company is actually doing, how they're treating the employee, what should I expect on a day of interview, because you have been already in that process. You have passed the interview. Can you tell me a little about the interview, what they are asking, what they are looking for, and then you can just explain on that day. And the second is the day of the interview, where you're actually going to the location and you're actually facing the panel or the interviewer. But remember, at the beginning, I say that interview is not a big deal, and I really mean that interview is not a big deal. It's the simplest thing. It's just the conversation. It's just you are with your friend explaining yourself. That's it. The only thing that is making it complicated is that we make a big deal out of it. We think that is a big exam. We think that is something very big, that if you fail on it, that is the end of your life. No, it's not the end of your life. It's not a big deal. It's not a problem. You can miss 1, you can miss 10. You can pass 1, you can pass 10. There's no problem. If you fail on 1, have the lesson learned, identify what issues you are having, which caused your failure, and prepare for the next one, especially in the United States, land of opportunities, thousands of jobs. You can pass even 5 or 6 interviews just for the sake of practice, even not for the sake of taking the job. And also, lastly, I can add this. When you're going to the interview, the interviewer is asking nothing about you. The only one single thing he is asking, or she is asking, or they are asking, is just to defend your resume. That's it. So if you're able to defend your resume, I guarantee 100% you are a successful candidate, and you will be passing the interview. By defending your resume, what I mean, in the resume, you have written that you have a fluent English. And when you're going to the day of an interview, and then you are stuck, and I see it's not a basic level. So you've written advanced in resume, and I see your English is basic. Or in the resume, you've written that you have access to computer, internet, browsing, Word, MS Excel, and Word, and PowerPoint, and stuff like that. And when you go to the day of interview, and I give you a simple presentation, please prepare this presentation for me, and I give you 30 minutes for it, and you're not able to open even the PowerPoint, how to open it, then it means that you have written something in the resume which you are not. You are showing something which you are not. So the only key to success is defend your resume. The more you defend it, the more you increase your chances of being selected.
Thank you. In that case, your recommendation, your advice is that first prepare yourself. The second, you must keep the patient. Maybe it will not be the first time you will be for the first apply. You can join the job, and you will be to apply more. How do you prepare yourself? Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Absolutely. You mentioned a very good point, and that is the patience. One of the things that nowadays we people we want everything, and we want it on the spot. That
Yeah.
is the thing that makes us a failed candidate. So
You are right.
you can have the right experience, you can have the right job, you can have the right pay, you can have the right this and that, but take some time to it.
Thank you.
Prepare, have patience. At the end of the day, you will succeed for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, this is just be someone you would want to hire. You
I think
covered.
we've already explained that, right? So I don't
Yes,
want
you
to
did.
repeat myself again.
No.
So how to stand out? Like how to stand out, I mean that, as I said in my previous example, when you are going to the interview, you are not the only one that me as an interviewer interview you. So there are 10 people, there might be 20 people that we are interviewing step by step, once in a day or 5 in a day, and then with each one we have our assessments, our scoring, and then once we completed the interview process with all these 10, 15, 20, then the panel will decide based on the tools and assessments they have who was the best candidate and who was the right person that we were looking for amongst these 20 or 15 people. So that's why you have to have um, your standing, your skills, and your interview in such a way that gives me the the impression that I have to select you amongst all those 20. By that I mean that you have to be the best of 20, you have to be the best of 15, you have to be the best of 10. If I'm supposed to hire only one, so then you have to be the best of whatever the total number of the applicants that we are interviewing or we plan to interview. So, and that, by that mean prepare yourself. By that I mean understand your job. By that I mean understand your resume. By that I mean defend your resume. By that I mean research about the employer. By that I mean prepare good examples about your previous job. By that I mean understand your strengths and weaknesses. By that I mean understand your skills. By that I mean note few of your achievements that you have in your professional life and go prepared to the interview. And always, communication is the key. Remember this. When I was back in Afghanistan, I was teaching at the university, and one of the subjects that I was teaching, that was I remember that was executive business communication. And you know what they were what the first page of the book was saying? That was saying it doesn't matter what you know or what you say, but how you say it. I repeat, it doesn't matter what you know or what you don't know, what you have, but how you present it. That is the important. So communication is the backbone of all the process. Don't rush. Don't speak on the spot without preparation. Speak slowly, speak calculated, and speak in a very effective way. And when you are answering the question, I can give you a technique. And that technique is give them the answer that they want. Do not give them the answer that you want. With each question that the employer or the interviewer is asking, they have already have a logic behind it. They're not randomly asking you, okay, question one, question two, question 10, okay, you are passed, you are failed. It's not like that. When the panel is like, when they are creating the position, job description, and when they reach to that interview process and they prepare all the questions and stuff like that. So with each question, they have an expected response from you. So they expect you to respond this way, and they want you to see how you're responding. So most of the people, when they're going to the interview and they get failed, one of the basic reasons is that they provide a response that they like. They do not provide a response that the employer is looking for. So when they ask you a question, understand you already know the company, the business, the employer, and stuff like that. So have nice responses to them. Then that will be one of the key factors that you increase your chance more in comparison to others to succeed and secure the position. Like as I said, this interview it has got many stages, and even in terms of the perspective, there are two perspectives when you are talking about the interview. First is the employer perspective. Second one is the employee perspective. One is taking the interview, another is giving the interview. So the one who is taking the interview is the employer. So they have a complete set of process, like to prepare themselves. It starts from need acquisition of the position, creation, requesting the position by the relevant department, and then HR is working on the job description of the position with the help of that department, and then they create the job description, they create the qualification, job specification, job description, and finally they are announcing the position. Then there are resume collections, and then shortlisting, and then you are coming on the day of interview, and then they have their tools and assessments, what type of questions they have to ask, what form of questions they have to ask, how to score those questions till the end you are selected. So that one side is belong to the employer. Don't stress yourself about that. That's their job. That's not my job. My job as a candidate, as an applicant, is to prepare myself to give the interview to the interviewer. So there are many things that you have to consider on the day of the interview, before the interview, during the interview, and after the interview. Like keep your resume up to date with working phone number, with the current address, with the current email address that you are using. One of the key failure indicator that I can tell you is that most of the people that we have been working with, our recently left Afghans, is that they have only one resume. And when they are applying, there are millions of jobs on all those job search engines. So what happens, they have one resume on their desktop and they are applying for 50 jobs a day. So they are just attaching that one resume to each and every job, which doesn't work at all. Like you are a doctor by profession, and your resume is developed as for a doctor, and then you see a project manager position, and you attach your resume to it. You see an engineering position, a technical position, you attach your resume to it. So, as an interviewer, someone who is shortlisting your resume, whether that is a person or a system or a database, is looking. You are a medical doctor. What connection you have with this technical position? So remember, when you are applying for a job, do not apply 100 jobs a day. That's not an achievement, and by that you're not able to secure a job even in a year. Apply 2 jobs a day. Apply 1 job a day. Read the job, read the job description, job qualification, and then prepare your resume according to that, which is connecting and matching to each other, and then apply. That way you are able to do it. Otherwise, you are always subject to fail. The second thing that you have to remember is that keep your interview outfits clean and pressed, ready to go. By outfit, I mean dress appropriate, have the good business attire, and go in a very professional way and have the right attitude. Third, practice answering questions without fillers. By filler means do not, as I said earlier, communication is the key. It's not important what you say, but how you say it. Remember that. So do not add all those, like do not use slangs, idioms, proverbs, and stuff like that, because you are coming from a culture where that idiom, slang, proverb, whatever makes sense to you, but it doesn't make sense to me as an employer in the United States. So talk something which is understandable to each and everyone. And also when you are talking, be not be in rush. to speak so fast like me, and then struggling with the words and stuff like that. So be prepared, communicate calculatedly, and also very clearly to make that kind of impression, to a positive impression, of course, to the interviewer. And practice your handshake, your eye contact. Remember, these are something that are not visible. Why you say body language, by the way? It is a language. If it's not a language, why we say body language? It means that is a complete language. You talk, or you have already talked even without speaking a word. And that starts from your first moment when you are just entering to the interview location, and the way you look to the employer, and the way you dress up, and the way you shake hand, and the way you sit down on that designated chair, and the way you have that gesture and posture to the employer, so that all makes an impression, either positive or a negative. Like, say, I can say an example in terms of the eye contact. uh, we came from Afghanistan, and we have our Afghani culture. So in Afghanistan, the culture is that when an adult or a parent or someone senior is talking to you and you're looking down, that's a sign of respect. We treat it as a sign of respect because that person is respecting me. He's not even keeping that straightforward eye contact with me, and keeping that straightforward eye contact to parents, to adults, to seniors is a sign of disrespect. But vice versa, in the United States, if your parents, adults, senior, teacher, whatever, they're talking with you and you're looking down, it means a sign of disrespect. It means that you're not paying attention. It means that you're ignoring me. It means that I'm nothing to you in front of you. I'm talking and you're looking down. So keep the right eye contact. And when I say the right eye contact, it doesn't mean that just stare to the interviewer. So keep the balance. And the balance is, I can give you a formula for that. So the balance is 80-20. 80-20 means that have 80% of the eye contact, 20% of distraction. By that I mean that do not look or stare at the employer or interviewer from the beginning till the end like this. So you can look at it, and then you can look here and there, and then again streamline your eye contact. So 20% you have the freedom to look here and there, but 80% should be a very professional and respectful eye contact. And also, like, a firm handshake. By firm handshake, I don't mean break the hand. So a very professional handshake, and then the way you're explaining, the way you're just posing to them. Of course, smile always, which is very cheap. Always, always, always go with confidence and smile. And what is giving you the confidence, I hope that you remember, is the preparation, is your knowledge.
Yes, and one thing I wanted to mention on this slide with the first bullet there for the working phone number and appropriate email is also, when you are job hunting, please make sure you are checking your voicemail and your email daily. I know a lot of times in Afghanistan, electronic communication is not as big as face-to-face communication and phone calls, but employers will often reach out via text, email, voicemails, things that are more electronic based. And so if you miss an employer reaching out to schedule an interview, then they may go to the next applicant instead of waiting.
And Kat, for that, I can give a very real and practical example.
Oh, yes.
In my office, in our team, we have a very good and appropriate way of communication, communicating opportunities, resources with our clients. So for that, we have created a designated email, and we are sharing resources, events, and news, and employment opportunities with hundreds or more than 1,000 clients. So most of the time, when I share these positions, very good opportunities with them, uh, many of them are coming and are talking about these things. And I tell them that Have you received our email yesterday? No. Have you received my email last week?
No.
What it was about? Well, I have shared you exactly what you want, but you haven't checked it. So at least bother yourself and check your inbox, check your spam, check your junk. Something is coming. And most of the time, clients or people have the mindset that when companies and agencies are sending them different emails and job opportunities and stuff like that, ignore it. It's just like an advertisement. Please do not ignore it. Everything has something to add to you. Everything is valuable if you understand the value. So whenever you receive an email from an agency, company, whatever, at least have few minutes. Avoid looking up and down on your Facebook or TikTok or stuff like that. Bother yourself for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and read that news, read that email. If it's useful, use it. If it's not, at least you improved your English, you improved your knowledge, and you understood something, and then delete it. Don't care about it.
Yes.
But at least read whatever you're receiving and check it.
Yes, at least look at the sender who is sending things. If it's an employer who you have applied to, click it because it might be a job offer.
Agree. Yes. And lastly, I hope this is the last slide, I think. As I explained previously, you have 3 steps when you are passing the interview. First, if you remember, that was pre-interview, before the interview. There are a ton of things that you have to do before the interview to prepare yourself for the interview. And then the second step is the interview, which you have to do whatever you prepared for it. And the last step is after the interview. What are some of the essential things that you have to do after the interview? And that primarily helps you to stand out in comparison to other clients or other candidates or applicants that have shown their interest or passed interview for the same position. First is when you are done with the interview, always, interviewer is asking you that, do you have any question for us? Please have 2, 3, 4 questions before you go into the interview. Those are the key. And that shows me that you are interested to the job, you have some interest to accept this job, and you have done your homework. So at least prepare a few questions that you would like to ask. And this is one of the best opportunity to ask them that question that you're actually looking an answer from them. And that helps you when you start your job. Number 2 is ask them for their business card. Like when you are done, you may have the general email address that HR is communicating with you, but you may not have the business card or contact details of those specific panelists that are actually deciding about your status. So ask about the business card of those panelists that are in the interview and collect those cards. Thank them in an appropriate way and then come out of the interview. So when you came out of the interview, go back home, have some rest, have your shower, pass a day or a few hours, and then send an email to that person, to that panelist, and showing your gratitude and appreciation to that specific company. And at least that creates a very positive and good impression in the mind of those panelists to you. And that may create some sort of environment that they prefer you instead of others. So why not just to tell them that it was my honor and pleasure meeting you today. I enjoyed the interview. The environment was good. The panelists were respectful. They asked me the right questions that I was looking for and I was expecting for the interview. Staff were treating me very well, respectful, and it was my honor passing 30 minutes with you. So everybody is awesome in this organization. This is a great organization. And even if I'm selected or not, I wish my best to the candidate that is going to have this position. And I wish nothing but success and progress to this company. Thank you so very much. And I'm looking forward to a positive response from your side. So They may read this email, they may not, they may do anything, or they may even count it as part of the spam, but at least you have done your job. You have shown the right attitude that is expected. And the last thing, as you mentioned, Kate, in your conversation about the email and follow-up, is that follow-up. Follow-up doesn't mean that you have to check your email after each hour or after 10 hours. Take some time for HR to do their process for a week or a few days, but at least every day, check your inbox, check your junk, check your spam. You may receive an offer, you may receive follow-up questions, you may receive a request for extra documents or additional clarifications, whatever, I don't know, but watch your inbox for essential information. These are some of the three good things or key things that you have to observe it after the interview.
Yes, absolutely. And the thank you note is also a great place where you have the opportunity to get a little bit more specific. If you want to, again, show that you were listening, you could say, oh, it was great hearing about XYZ goals, or seeing your company playing a role in these initiatives, or, I look forward to contributing in these ways that we discussed. You're throwing back to that conversation you had and refreshing it in their memory. And if you want, you could even briefly reference your experience briefly. It is not a paragraph thing. It is not restating your resume, but in response to their mission goals, something like, I look forward to contributing my finance experience to.
And you know what? And this could be a very good opportunity to talk about whatever you missed on the day of the interview. So
yes,
you might have been stressful, anxiety, whatever. We are all human. We come under different type of impressions, and positive or negative. You might have forgot about very, very good things. You might have forgot about very key notes. So this thank you note is a good opportunity, because you're now not under stress or anxiety. You are just at home having a cup of tea or coffee and just writing down. So write whatever you missed. They may have a look at it, they may read it, or that may change their decision.
Yes. Just make sure that you keep the focus on this is going to be on them, on how great they are, on how you look forward to contributing to them. But yes, you can do it in that tactful way of, I can contribute to you because I have these wonderful skills. So,
right. And the last thing I can add, as I explained at the beginning as well, Kat, is please, please, please do not take interviews seriously. Do not be serious. Most of the time we are trying to be very serious. No, do not be serious. Take it easy. Have patience. And it's not the end of your life. It's not the end of the world. There are thousands of positions. There are thousands of opportunities. If you missed one, 5 is waiting for you. If you missed 5, 10 is waiting for you. So just practice and be very, very comfortable and relaxed when you are going to the interview. And I can explain that in a very funny way, is that back in Afghanistan, when the family of the boy is going to the family of the girl to just ask for request for marriage or engagement or stuff like that, we call it khasgari. So when the parent of boy is sitting in the house of the girl, how awesome they are explaining the boy. Well, my son, or the son itself, explaining himself very, very well. My son is an engineer, a doctor, making this much money, and he is beautiful, and he can do everything.
Genius, rich man.
So treat it that way, and how relaxed you are, and how friendly and lovely you are in that moment. But when it comes to the interview, when you come to the interview, you are pretending the interviewer as your enemy. No, he's not an enemy. He is not someone to judge you. He's not someone to just sentence you to the jail. Just an ordinary person, a recruiter, sitting down and just looking whether you're able to do the job or not. So just be lovely, be friendly, comfort and relaxed. Explain whatever you know. The end result. Don't think about the result. Think about the process. Think about the moment that you're talking.
Yeah.
Forget about the result. Perform well. Well performance will bring you ultimately the result.
The interviewer is not there to drop the judge's hammer. They're just
Absolutely.
another person. They go
Yes.
home and watch Netflix. They're just another human being.
If you do everything or if you do nothing, at
Yes.
the end of the interview, they will be smiling and they will thank you and they will have a handshake. Thank you so very much. We're looking forward. Please wait for a response. If you say everything, if you say nothing, so nothing will happen to you. Be relaxed.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This was a fantastic talk, and I deeply appreciate all of your experience and wisdom.
Thank you so very much. It was my honor to participate and just share our experience in the thing that we are doing on a daily basis in our office and helping clients and Afghans, our beloved Afghans, to secure a job and reach self-sufficiency here in the United States.
Thank you.
Yes, we are so lucky to work with our newcomers. I feel very fortunate to. I'm the only, I think, person who is not Afghan here, but I am.
And you know what, Kate? The last message that I have is don't, to all my brothers and sisters that are in the United States, I agree absolutely. Every day in office, we are facing, my team, and we are all facing hundreds of people coming. They are having medical issues, they are having financial issues, they are having legal issues, they are having many issues. Some are crying, some are shouting, some are appreciating, some are depreciating. We know their anxiety. They left their country, they left everything behind. They have been evacuated in a very horrible way. They have left behind their families. They are thinking about how to survive here. They are helping their families back in Afghanistan to survive. So they're already having that kind of stress, anxiety. Please do not stress yourself more than that.
Yes.
And be patient. Everything will be okay at the end of the day. It's just about the time. It's just about the effort that you're putting forward. Many of them are having good potential, good education, good skills, and they have been doing fantastic jobs back in Afghanistan. So give it some time, a year or two, you will be able to secure a job, you will be able to survive paying your bills, and you will be having a very shining and prosperous life here in the United States.
Absolutely. This is an incredibly talented, incredibly educated population. And this is something that I tell employers and organizations that we work with all of the time. This is the most linguistically talented group of people I have ever worked with. It is uncommon for me to speak to someone who speaks fewer than 3 languages.
And I know, I wish these people been in the country and served the country. Like, what is the definition of the refugee or immigrant or asylee?
Yes.
These are the people leaving their country unwillingly. These are the people leaving their country when they want their country. So they leave the country because of reasons, economic reasons, security reasons, life reasons, many reasons. So they're not happy leaving their country. They want to be there in their country and serve their country and develop their country. I want them to be their country. But why we are named as refugee or immigrants or asylees? Because we left the country, we had no any option. So we don't have security, we don't have like good jobs, we're not able to support ourselves and families and many other things. That's why we are leaving the country forcefully. We are leaving the country unwillingly, and we are coming to somewhere which we have no experience of and starting a life from scratch, from zero. So you're starting your life from zero, but be patient. Soon you will reach whatever you dream for in the United States, as you are having that dream like realized and having that type of right job and right position that you are having in Afghanistan. So soon you will have all of them. Time, patience.
We are here to help.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.